Hi everyone, Josh Smith here with GottaBeMobile.com. Today we're taking a look at the new iPad Air, which just arrived, and the iPad Mini, which Apple launched in 2012. Both of these devices are on store shelves today. If you walk into Best Buy or Apple, and many of the stores, even Walmart, you'll see these two next to each other. We're expecting a new iPad Mini 2 with a higher resolution Retina display, similar to what we have over here, but in this smaller size, to arrive later this month. But right now, a lot of people are comparing these two devices right when they go into shop. So one of the things that we really need to consider is the portability. And while the iPad Air is smaller and slimmer than, say, the iPad 3 or the iPad 4, which it replaced, we have a noticeable reduction thanks to the thinner bezels over here. It's still not as portable as the iPad Mini. For instance, if we hold these two devices up next to each other right here, you get a much better look at how portable an iPad Mini is compared to an iPad Air. That's not to say there aren't some great advancements here. This is also lighter. It's a pound versus 0.68 pounds. So we have a easy to manage device. It's very thin. Both of these devices are practically the same size. If you look at them here in person, you're not going to be able to tell which one is thinner, which one is thicker. But as I mentioned multiple times, ultimately the iPad Air becomes kind of a commitment to carry, because if you're going to head out and you don't want to take a bag or something like that, the Mini is much easier to fit into a pocket. I don't recommend doing this every day, but the iPad Mini will fit into a pair of jeans, so you can slide it in to your jeans, and it's enough that as long as you don't mind showing a little bit, you can actually carry that. Now the iPad Air, if you want to try the same thing, you don't get the same results. You try and put that in, and even with a really big pocket, you essentially just run out of room. So while it would be great to, enjoy tons more portability, there are still some areas where the iPad Mini is going to be a better solution. Now, as we move on to the display, this is one area where the iPad Air just wins hands down. We have a Retina display, which in simplest terms means the amount of pixels on this screen are vastly higher than over here, so they're packed closer together, and when we are looking at text, reading books, reading the web, things like that, just everything looks a lot nicer when we head in to look at the actual content. The iPad Mini 2 will be coming, or the iPad Mini with Retina display as Apple calls it, will be coming soon, and with that, users will be able to go for a device that's smaller with better resolution, but you can still see a difference in the text. You can make out a couple more pixels over here, so if you're doing a ton of reading, the iPad Air may be a better solution. And because it's thinner, if you're holding it in bed and flipping through a book with one hand, it's still, or I should say, it's now much easier to do that with this device than it was with the heavier, thicker iPad 3 or iPad 4, which are essentially, in terms of design, about the same device. Now, when you're heading into the store, one thing that is pretty much limited with the iPad Mini is you can only find the 16GB model in Apple stores now. There are refurbished models that offer more storage, but basically from this point forward you'll see a 16GB iPad Mini at $299 and a 16GB iPad Air at $499. So it's a $200 price difference, and you're trading off some portability for a higher resolution screen. And you have to kind of ask yourself, okay, do I need a higher resolution screen for doing work, for looking at movies, and all this other stuff? And figure out really what all you need to do and which screen is best for you. One of the easiest ways to do that is to head into a store and play with them. If you're going to be typing, type on each of them, look at the keyboard accessories, watch a movie trailer, see which one fits your needs the most. But where we go from that 16GB base model is up. You can get an LTE version for about $129 more. Both LTE versions work on Sprint, T-Mobile, AT&T, and Verizon. This model here, you can then get higher storage in both Wi-Fi and LTE. So you can go all the way up to 128 gigabytes. That jumps the price up substantially, $100 for each jump, and then $129 on top of that for the LTE version. So you can get into price area with the iPad Air. There are some good deals on the iPad mini in the Apple Refurb store, where the 16 gig is available for as low as $250 sometimes, and you can also get those higher storage capacity versions if you're lucky. That's a quick look at some of the biggest differences between the new iPad Air and Apple's iPad mini. Stay tuned to GottaBeMobile.com to check out more and take a closer look at how the mini compares to the mini with Retina Display, and how the new Retina Display mini compares to the iPad Air when they launch later this month.